Many know me as Vice, the DJ collecting travel miles around the world, rocking clubs night after night. What you may not know is that I'm a native Angelino, self-described foodie, people connector, and enjoy driving new friends to experience the come up on some good tacos in the city I proudly call home. From the valley to the west side to everywhere in between, this is Electric Taco. Welcome to Electric Taco. My name is Vice, and we are back for another season inside a new Electric Taco Mobile. This is the Panda, yes. And we're headed to pick up Coach Blue, Nike Los Angeles running coach, Coach Blue. Also known for Run with the Lab, based out of Los Angeles, as well as the Speed Project, which is absolutely insane. And I want to say I'm never going to do that in my life, but who knows? I never thought I was going to run a marathon, and here I am training 26.2 miles to run the first marathon in my lifetime. I'm doing the LA Marathon, and it is going to be insane. And I'm all here ready to rock because of this man named Coach Blue. Coach Blue!
What up?
Coach Blue with the blue shoes. You can't see it, but...
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
What's up, Blue?
Good to see you.
Very good to see you. So, Coach Blue, thank you for being here. And
Pleasure.
I got to run a couple things by you. Okay, you're known as the Nike Los Angeles running coach as well, all right?
Yes, sir.
As well as Run with the Lab.
Run with the Lab?
But it had to have started before this. We're going to go way back. Actually, let's go way back to the start of the day. What was for breakfast?
Ooh, dang. So I
way back to the start of the day. Breakfast.
So I skip breakfast.
Okay, is that a normal thing?
Because I shouldn't say I skip it, I work out before I eat. So get my workout in on a fasted system.
Okay.
Just to sort of encourage fat burning.
Gotcha.
So I do my run first. So that's how my day starts. Run first, then eat after.
What time is like a normal wake up time for?
So 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Okay.
Running by 6. Out to the track today. Did a little track workout with Run with the Lab.
Run with the Lab.
So I'm coaching as much as running on Tuesdays.
Okay.
So get a little mileage in there, but it's mostly coaching.
Little mileage is
what's
a little mileage?
7 miles.
Okay. Little
like
mileage.
Yeah.
I can understand that now. So your day starts off with no breakfast. So your appetite starts spiking up like somewhere in the day after all these runs.
It's pretty leveled out, like through the workout. Typically after the workout, then it pops up. It's like, all right, we're hungry.
Okay. So take me back to, since I actually don't even know this, to the early days. Were you always an athlete, like high school, college? Were you this machine that you are now?
I was a wild animal in the mountains of Colorado.
Mountains of Colorado. That's where you're born and raised?
Yeah, in Durango, Colorado.
So you didn't have a specific passion. You were just kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, just all over the place. I mean, I did cross-country skiing. I think my first exposure to running as something other than running through the mountains and playing, like my first workout sense of running was on the cross-country ski team. We would meet up at the high school, and everybody would go on these 10-mile runs in the mountains, and they were getting ready for the ski season. So I joined the ski team one year. My friends were doing it, and that was my first. I was like, "Oh, this is a workout. This is horrible."
Right. And this is in high school.
This was no. So this would be 6th grade.
6th grade.
Yeah. So I was pretty much rock climbing from about 7th grade. I got really into rock climbing.
I'm glad you're out of that.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
I wouldn't have been hanging with you.
Yeah, no. But I was obsessed with that for a while. But around that time, I got into reggae music a lot. Actually, got dreadlocks in my hair, and that caused a whole bunch of rifts with like my peers growing up. Got into some issues there just because I looked different, which made me go even further that direction. And but yeah, really into reggae. Actually started a band.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned you're in a band. What was the name of the band?
Soul Mystic.
I hope we can find some footage. I'm gonna dig.
I'm
gonna dig. Everyone look up Soul Mystic. Find footage. Did you believe like I'm gonna be a star in music?
Thing. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. Yeah, I was just.
I'm touring the world.
Singing. Yeah, that was it, man. That was like
lead
all
vocals.
in.
Lead vocals.
Lead vocals, rhythm guitar. I was easy skanking.
Yeah, easy skanking.
Yeah. So that was my whole thing, and like along that high school journey and like living this like Rasta lifestyle.
Yeah.
I was reading Bob Marley's biography, and I came to this chapter about them doing these disciplines and the stamina, where he would take his entourage on these 18-mile runs around Kingston.
I did not know this.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I was like, I'm gonna try this. So I would go out and I started doing these little runs out from my house, and I had a husky, and so I would take her on these runs with me because lots of bears around. Like I wanted to have a little bit of protection. So I sort of created a relationship with, starting my day every day with like this running, and I tried to get my band members into it, and they were just like, not happening.
So could you say Bob Marley influenced you to become a runner?
Like the number one thing that
wow, never did that.
Because I so emulated
so cool.
him, I looked up to him. He's a big hero of mine, So
did it help you as a musician as well?
Yeah, I mean, it helped with my creativity. Like you go for a run, your mind's clear and stuff.
I'm getting that. I'm so totally seeing the correlation now with being a DJ, and now why I like running so much. It's like you get into the studio or you get into your stage or whatever it may be, and you feel like you ran it all out, like all that stress is gone, and it's like it's on the trail behind you, right? Yeah. So you're hitting 18-mile runs and then getting back into the roster.
At that point, I had read that he was doing that, but I didn't really have a way to track mileage so much, and I didn't really care about the mileage. I didn't really think about that side of it. I was just going out on these runs, and in Colorado, we'd like pick a ridge line, and we'd like, hey, what if we ran up that ridge and then down that valley into that riverbed, and like
but no formal training. You're just like, let's just run.
Yeah. So I moved out to California when I was 21. And I found it really hard. Like, so in my hometown, people would get together and you would sort of mix up, different bands would jam together. Right. There was like more of a music scene. When I came to LA, sort of expected there to be more of a scene than there was. Yeah. It was really hard for me to find people that were just out there jamming. And
it just didn't happen here.
I just couldn't find people. And I was, I got super into
surfing. You got to get the band back together, man.
I was about 26 years old when one of my buddies who was a surf bum with me, he basically was like, I have a friend that runs these marathons. Like, we should do this. It's not much surf lately. Let's do something. Let's train for something. So sure enough, he talked me into it. I had no idea what it was. I didn't know it was 26 miles. I knew nothing. I was just like, oh, well, we're sort of running on the beach in between, decent swells.
Yeah.
And,
and you had that running past in your body.
Yeah, something that I did. I always did it for fitness. So I just kind of took it on, and that was 13 years ago.
Wow.
But it's sort of like been downhill ever since.
Yeah.
I've run 62 marathons and
62 marathons in your belt. Do you remember your first marathon?
Absolutely.
Where was it? And
San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon, 2006.
Full marathon.
I had long blonde hair. I had a bandana tied around my head, running in just soccer shorts, and shirts off. I was 150 pounds. I weigh 130 pounds now, so 20 pounds every. That was surf body,
Wow. Do you remember your time on your first marathon?
3:14. And I ran 2 more over the next couple years. I was talked into it again reluctantly, and I kept running that same time, 3:14. So I just sort of felt like that's how fast my body runs, and I didn't really.
And you're like, okay, cool. That's what I can do, and that's me, right?
That's good with me,
Good time.
Yeah,
good time. Yeah. Did you finish the marathon, and did you have that was fun?
What I liked was how you sort of get to this point in the marathon where the innermost, the darkest parts of you, or the brightest parts of you, everything about you is revealed to you. Any weakness you have is going to be exposed. Yeah. Any strength you have is also going to pay you back, right? So you really get to know yourself in a very intimate way, and I loved finding out at mile 20, mile 22, when everything's gone, you have no energy left. What are you made of? Right. And I think my life's always been about sort of finding that level. I grew up that way of let's test this. What are we actually made of? How far can we actually go? And I think with the marathon, I got that every time. It's if nothing else, I'm gonna find out what I'm made of on that day.
And it must have started clicking. Those inner conversations you have with yourself. I've never, where I'm at in the training right now, I've never had this much inner dialogue in my life.
Yes.
It's even with all the travel and the alone time I may have on an airplane, it's completely different.
Yeah.
There's I didn't realize there's a whole different person inside of me. Was there a marathon, you're up to all these marathons, was there ever any that you tapped out on, that you're like, oh, I can't finish this one?
Well, I started,
No.
So I always I could always finish, and I started experimenting on myself with I did just CrossFit training for 6 months with no running, unless it was a CrossFit workout, to see what would it be like to be super strong and then run a marathon.
Did that work?
It worked the first time.
Okay.
And then I ran a triple marathon, 3 marathons in 3 days, which I had done a few times before, and it was it wasn't working as well.
Wow.
So, but then at this point in that sort of path of finding that how the strength works with running, I was doing more and more strength, less and less running, and I got to my 30th birthday on my 30th marathon in Santa Barbara, and I get to mile 16, and I had to stop and walk. The first time I ever stopped and walked in any marathon, and the 30th one. So it's I've been doing this for a long time, and I've done 30 of these things. I'm 30 years old. I'm sort of in my prime. Why am I stopping and walking? Because I was so muscle bound. I was I lost my efficiency. So I was I need to make a choice. So I chose marathoning, and I was if I sacrifice different things, how fast can I get? And I just sort of started cutting out more and more of my side hobbies, doing more and more of the running. And it was sort of a very linear progression. And the other thing was I found a coach, or a coach found me, actually.
Coach found you.
Yeah, coach found me. And
you're seeing improvement on your speed and your time.
And everything was getting better. I was getting faster. And my first trial with this new form was in Greece. I ran from the city of Marathon to Athens.
Can you explain that for everyone that doesn't exactly know this? Is that the story? That's how the word marathon comes?
Really cool. So, like, the short end of the story is, like, you run from the city of Marathon to Athens, about 26 miles, or at the time 24, 25, around that distance, and that distance will kill you because he died, right? But the real story is he ran more like 320 miles and fought in a multi-day battle, and then he died.
Right.
So,
everyone thinks at that point, 26.2, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So everyone can run past 26.2 miles.
In a lot of marathons nowadays, you'll see a sign like, this is a distance that killed Philippides, and it's like,
okay,
well,
so as we all know, we'll survive 26.2, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't run 300 miles before the 26.2, you have a pretty good chance.
We'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right, we're here, Tocaya, Playa Vista. It's taco time. Coach Blue, you ready to eat?
We get to eat?
I deserve. I'm gonna say I deserve it. Do you deserve it?
You're doing a lot
all right,
today.
good.
Yeah,
let's get these tacos in.
All right.
We're back. Electric Taco. We just crushed. I think we shared a taco plate of maybe 6 tacos or so.
Quite a few tacos.
You still have a 10-mile run today, so you're not going to go too crazy. And
I went pretty crazy actually.
What is that? Yeah, that was a big
meal,
amount.
Yeah.
What is your favorite taco? Do you know? Is you like?
Ooh, dang.
Are you more al pastor? Are you more chicken? Are you more?
I think
carne asada.
Carne asada, but. Like I'll always go for a good like Baja style fish taco too.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I feel like you have to be like right by the ocean to have those.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm
right.
not gonna be in. Yeah, you're not going to Colorado and eating fish tacos. Yeah.
I gotta ask you too. Is there? Do you live by like a diet with all this running? Like
I've been through every diet I think that you can imagine.
Really?
Yeah. We talked about how you sort of when you're running a lot, your body sort of deals with fuel a little bit differently. Like the way you digest food is a little bit different. So. Like you can't eat as much like meat at first, but after a while I've noticed over the years of training a lot, like right now I'm running about 100 miles per week.
100 miles per
on
week
average. So since the start of the year I've run an average 100 miles per week, and
wow,
it's you sort of normalized to the point where even your digestion is like sort of normalizes to where I could kind of eat anything.
Wow.
And I no longer have that like, oh, I don't want to eat as much meat or
no cheese or no this.
Yeah, no, I'm just sort of like in need of a lot of nutrients, so I need like essential fats, essential proteins, amino acids, all of that stuff. It's hard to tell the difference of just accumulative fatigue, like this process of like you did a hard workout and then before you're really recovered, you're doing another workout. So you're compounding these levels of fatigue, and that it feels the same as not really having eaten enough.
Gotcha.
So it's hard to tell, like, am I not eating enough, or am I just the workouts were just that hard that I haven't recovered? So you can only accumulate so much fatigue before it has a detrimental effect, because your body, the recovery process is essentially the whole point. So if you can't recover from a workout, it's pointless to do the workout.
Is it hard for you to take a break and just stop and be like, oh yeah, I took a week off of running? Look at your face right now.
I can't remember taking a week off. And the other thing is, like, once you've created these habits, because a lot of times, like today, I don't want to go out for another 10 miles. I've run 6 or 7 miles earlier today, and I don't want to go out for another 10.
The way there is something in you that says, like, I don't want to go run.
I get all the time.
Everyone must think that, like, oh, he loves to run. He wants to get up and wake up and go and do a 30-mile run or a 20.
It's sort of like mile 4 or 5, and you're like, okay, I guess we're out here. Like
we're out here.
So
okay, so it's not only me.
No.
Okay. Because some people are like, I've gotten this so many times. Yeah, but I'm not like you. I don't like to run.
Oh, I get it all the time. Yeah.
Did I just tell you I like to run?
Yeah.
There's sometimes I don't want to get up and run.
Absolutely.
But is there ever like a morning run and then you're on mile 1 and you're just like, this sucks. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I mean,
and you have to. Do you still have to push yourself at this point? Do you still have to tell yourself like, let's go, let's get out there? Let's go.
All the time.
Okay.
Especially right now with this whole, like, when I say like we're running 100 miles per week, it's like it can sound like, oh, that's crazy, you do a lot, but it doesn't really encompass the fact that I don't just exist in this level of fitness where I can just always run 100 miles every week and it's no big deal. It's a big deal. It's a lot of energy for the body. Like I feel like I need to take a nap almost every day, and I can't take a nap every day.
You're doing this many miles because you're in training right now?
Yeah. I have another month of really hard training before my taper starts. Last week we taper off and do a lot less running than last week, and then we race. So I've got 4 more weeks to train. So this is sort of the height of my running as far as the volume goes, as far as the intensity. And these last few weeks will be like a lot of high intensity running.
Wow.
So,
and Boston's, what date is that?
April 15th.
April 15th, 26.2 miles. And what are you shooting for? Is there like, do you already have your...
It's like I would, I just want to have a good day out there.
Okay,
and it's
good.
like, you know, like what we're always sort of training for, like me and my training partners, is to go for that Olympic trials standard.
For like a big race day, what is like to get you pumped?
It's less about getting too pumped up. I think we spend about 5 months in training. So we're like sort of anticipating this date and this event for 5 months and gearing up for it. So like in that last week, in the last few days, in the last day, it's more about, okay, shut everything down, shut my mind down. It's kind of meditative, you know, just being in a really just calm place.
Yeah.
So that when that gun goes off, it's just like, you know, your body, your mind, your soul knows what it's got to do.
Yeah.
And you just let it happen.
Your schedule must be insane with all this running. I mean, on top of that, you're a father as well, so you're a family man as well. So where's the balance?
Yeah.
Are you running with your kids in your arms, or
basically, yeah. No, my wife and I are always talking about how our life right now is like a Kenyan training camp. Like, because my wife's training for a race too, and this is the first time we've both been training at the same time. Yeah, so it's like, all right, I got the kids, you go, and it's like literally, okay, you got 60 minutes. What can you fit in? Like, hit go, tie the shoe, you're out the door. And we talk a lot about personal records and times when it comes to running, but running is so much more than times and numbers. I
love that, man. I'm glad you said that. Because a lot of people, that's the first thing. They're like, oh, you're running a marathon? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing my first. Like, what's your time? What's the time you're running? I'm like,
it's like, there's so much more to it.
Yeah, I'm like, the process is just so fun already that I'm diving in.
We always say, like, the finish time is a very poor representation of what I just went through. Like, I just went to hell and back, or maybe had a great day, but the point is, like, it's been this roller coaster ride of emotion and challenge and, like, adversity that I survived. And for me to give you a number and say, oh, I ran this time, it sort of, like, makes all of those other stories irrelevant, which they're not, right?
Yeah, so, I'm glad I'm hearing this, because it's, I didn't say yes to doing a full marathon to show someone a time. Yeah. I did it for the journey of where it's going to take me and learning more about myself as a person, and I'm glad we got to touch on that. You've trained everyone, DJs now. You've trained a mutual friend, Charlie Rocket. You got to work with him. And I think Kevin Hart was on our Hood to Coast team. You've got to train. You got to train a lot of. I'm not in the celebrity. A lot of celebrities outside of here.
You're a celebrity.
Is it fun? I mean, getting to meet so many different people, and like, you know, someone like Kevin Hart who was on our Hood to Coast team, and seeing how running changes these people as well, right?
It's amazing to see how running first changes them as a person. Yeah. And then it's like, it sort of happened to me too, where it's like you're like, oh wow, I'm much better person than I was before I started this, and then you have this natural, you know, desire to give it back. Yeah, and it's like you're doing it like Kevin Hart did it. You know, it's like,
I love that. Also, just, people, you see someone like Kevin Hart and even I guess with my schedule as well, people will be like, oh, I just don't have time to run. Yeah, and you're like, really? Yeah, like, oh, I really want to run, but I don't have the time. Yeah. And I was like, neither did I this one day, but I ended up running through an airport terminal and getting a mile in just to like feel like, okay, cool, I got my run done. Do you have any quotes you live by? Is there anything you like?
We're all teachers, we're all students, and wisdom is knowing which side to be on in each moment.
Ooh, so love that.
If you're open to it, those lessons are everywhere.
I love how much, you know, touching on the father thing and having kids, about how much I learned from children's books now. Reading them. Like, I was reading my daughter books about the present of being present. Oh, you know, like, and I'm like, God, like, I'm like, and I'm reading her about how to be present and this and that, and I'm reading her, and I'm like, trying to keep in mind, like, just keep your phone away, like, keep your phone over here, and like, just be present in this moment. And now with really running, that I don't ever run with music. A lot of people ask me that as a DJ. They're like, dude, what's your playlist? Send me your playlist for running. And I was like, I don't have one. I run with no music. They're like, you ran 3 hours a day with no music? And I'm like, you know how much thought happened and how many creative moments I had and how many like I'm like that wouldn't have happened with the music in my head, and they're like, oh yeah, okay. So it's like even on runs of being present with my breathing and just listening to myself and getting to talk to myself and scream at myself and praise myself, you know.
And it all came from a children's book.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, just be present. Yeah, just
So
be
good.
present in that moment. Yeah. Do you feel there's any like end goal to this? Like, oh, I want to get to the Olympics, or
Good
I want to
question,
get.
Yeah, I would love to get to like Olympic trials level, but it's just another reason to get out the door. You know, like I so far surpassed what I ever thought I'd get to in the sport. And the thing is, like, there's always another level you can go to.
Right.
So it's like that carrot is always like, you know, it's always
Dangling
there no
right
matter
there,
what.
yeah.
So you have to. I think the goal is to be at peace with yourself. Like, if I die tomorrow, am I content with what I've done? And I like that's sort of a journey I've been on my whole life. Like I want to make memories. I want to do the most I can in this life. But at any given point, if it's over, like, am I content with what has happened?
Yeah.
And so I've always sort of asked myself that, and I've gone through that process my whole life. So I can say, like, if I die tomorrow, like, it's been a well spent life already. So
If you could just give someone that little like nugget of knowledge, just to be like, where do I start?
I think it's something that you said. I think, and that we kind of almost ended on it, is being present.
Yeah.
Because you're only where you are.
Right.
And like, no matter where, you never know where you're going to be someday. So like, the most important thing is that you know, if you can run a mile today, go run a mile today. And people are like, oh man, I can't run more than, if I try to go run a 5K or 3 miles, I have to stop and walk. Well, then stop and walk.
Right.
You know, and tomorrow you're probably going to be able to go a little bit further if that's your goal.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe your goal is just to run that same distance a little bit faster next time.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, just stay in the moment, enjoy it.
Enjoy it. And at least take that first step towards it, right?
Absolutely. Get out the door.
Coach Blue,
All right.
I'll see you
DJ
March
Vice.
24th, LA Marathon.
Game on, baby.
We're
You're ready.
going to raise some money for the Students Run
This
LA.
man is ready.
Yeah, game time. All right, enjoy that 10-mile run with those tacos in your belly.
Thank you, sir. See you
Until next time,
man.
Electric Taco Coach Blue.